guard the citadel.
This scene drives me crazy. How grumpy of an old man does Gandalf have to be to just be lambasting the decision that Pippin made on his own free will? Pippin is an adult. Well, he's not an adult by Hobbit standards, but he's close to it. And Gandalf first hits him with the staff and tells him to
Get up.
and then in a coughing fit, just mocks him for becoming a guard of the citadel. And I am reading Lord of the Rings for the first time, and I finally got to the chapter where Pippin pledges to serve and to pay the debt of Boromir's life. And it's a prime moment where Gandalf can be grumpy because he's kind of grumpy in this chapter. And it's totally different because Gandalf is actually super proud and pleased with Pippin. It's a lovely moment, and in this video I just want to highlight one thing. How Gandalf has changed from book to movie. Now both are grumpy in book and movie, and both are kind in book and movie. But the moments they choose to be grumpy and kind are different, and it just drives me crazy. And I don't know, I just get upset sometimes for how they just change his character. In the book, this is how Tolkien writes Pippin pledging himself to Denethor. It's after that he tells him that Boromir was struck by a bunch of arrows, and then this is what he says. Then Pippin looked the old man in the eye, for pride stirred strangely within him, still stung by the scorn and suspicion in that cold voice. Little service, no doubt, will so great a lord of men think to find in a hobbit, a halfling from the northern shire, yet such as it is, I will offer it, in payment of my debt. Twitching aside his grey cloak, Pippin drew forth his small sword, and laid it at Denethor's feet. Then, after a few more paragraphs, he says, I see strange tales are woven about you, said Denethor, and once again it is shown that looks may belie the man, or the halfling. I accept your service, for you are not daunted by words, and you have courteous speech. Strange, though, the sound of it may be to us in the south, and we shall have need of folk of courtesy, be they great or small, in the days to come. Swear to me now. Take the hilt, said Gandalf, and speak after the Lord, if you are resolved on this. I am, said Pippin. The old man laid the sword on his lap, and Pippin put his hand to the hilt, and said slowly after Denethor. So it's a small little moment in this section, but Gandalf is actually kind of supporting Pippin in his decision. He seems like he's happy that Pippin has made this decision, which is just different from the book because he's hitting him in the book, and he's coughing and making fun of Pippin for the decision that he made. And it's these small little things, again, that are driving me crazy in this book. Because why change this? Make Gandalf a good, happy grandpa figure. But this is the initial instance that, Gandalf hits Pippin and tells him to get up, and he asks him what he wants to do. But all the good stuff in this chapter doesn't end with just that moment, because there's a moment that Gandalf is actually even more proud of Pippin a few pages later. So Pippin is nervous he made the wrong decision, and he talks to Gandalf, and this is what the text says. Are you angry with me, Gandalf? He said, as their guide went out and closed the door. I did the best I could. You did indeed, said Gandalf, laughing suddenly. And he came and stood beside Pippin, putting his arm about the hobbit's shoulders and gazing out of the window. Pippin glanced in some wonder at the face now close beside his own, for the sound of that laugh had been gay and merry. Yet in the wizard's face he saw at first only lines of care and sorrow, though as he looked more intently, he perceived that under all there was a great joy. A fountain of mirth, enough to set a kingdom laughing, were it to gush forth. Indeed, you did your best, said the wizard. If that is not Pippin perceiving Gandalf as a benevolent old grandfather, then I don't know what is. He just seems like he's brimming with joy. Not necessarily out of the decision that Pippin has made, but because he's proud of Pippin for taking agency and making a decision in his life. Again, I love both book and movie, but there are just small changes that are really, really starting to rattle me about, why change this one section and make Gandalf grumpy in this scene? Let Gandalf be a proud old wizard for these hobbits that he loves dearly, because him being proud of Pippin in this moment shows his deep love of hobbits a lot more than they really show in the movies. And there are a few other good moments with Pippin later that Gandalf share with him, but they're just not quite as good as this one. I think Gandalf just deserves to be a grandfatherly figure more often than he is in the books, and that is all I have to say about that. So make sure you like the video. there's a new thing on YouTube called hyping a video, and I don't know, whatever that is, but you can do it if you want. So you can do it. I think it gets the channel more out there or something like that. But you can also subscribe to if you want. And as always, remember to look toward Numenor that was, and beyond to Elvenhome that is, and to that which is beyond Elvenhome and will ever be. I'll see you in the next one.